because I guess we could start. Like, this is the thing. Like, we're just casual.
Great.
Welcome back to Not That Deep. I'm so freaking excited to be here today. We're back at PNC Knitwear. We're so happy to be here. We have no Clinton Street baked goods, but we have even better. Two amazing women. Two powerhouse women.
Powerhouse.
Danielle and Julie, thank you guys so much for being here. I have an intro in my head that's like slightly rehearsed, but...
Let's hear it.
Okay. Welcome to the podcast, Two Fucking Powerhouses. Have you ever had a really good idea with your friend and you're like, we should make a business? How often do you actually do it? These two women did it. Starting in 2018, they started the app called Fourplay. Have you ever wanted to go on a double date with your best friend and meet two other best friends? Now you can. Welcome to the pod.
My jaw is on the floor. Did you go to NYU Tisch?
Yeah, when did you come up with that?
Okay, so I actually didn't rehearse it. I just did that on the spot.
No.
I'm like, time for magic.
That was amazing.
That was magic.
Thank you, but it's also really easy to hype people up when they deserve it, and that's what I've learned. Like, I'm so freaking happy for you two to be here. And how did we get started? Like, your presence on social media.
Yours.
Yours.
I came across you. That's the truth. I saw you and I was like, she's so funny.
Let me stop you there. I want you to do the one that we rehearsed for her.
Uh-oh.
You
do it.
It's only fair. I saw you had notes scribbled on your little hands. Don't make her. She didn't go to Tisch.
Don't make me sing.
They're just in like health. They're not actually
No. We're not actresses.
Tishers.
No.
But I would love if you guys could give little intros about yourself because as you do know, I've done my research, but no one else has. Mm-hmm. Can you give me, because you both have very unique stories. The story of you being like in the healthcare field, killing the healthcare field is...
I hope we're not killing them.
You killing people, murdering people in the space of health is really admirable. And I just would love if you could talk on it. Mm-hmm. No, who you guys, when you were growing up, what did you want to be? How did you end up meeting at Penn State?
Yeah.
Let's start small.
I wanted to be a wedding singer, and I still do. When I sell the company, that is going to be my dream. That's what I'm going to be, a vet and a wedding singer, both.
You always need to have two jobs.
Yes, 100%. I have 3 actually right now. Yeah.
What's the third?
I'm a nursing instructor at Mount Sinai Nursing School.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm actually really into bragging about it. Yeah, I'm really into bragging about it. It's been really fun. I really like to have that interaction with really young people because they keep me young. They keep me young.
Not all are young though.
Not all are young. Yeah, it's a second degree program, so some of the students are older. They've been it's last semester I had a student that was in his 50s. He retired and then went back to school to become a nurse.
That is so amazing.
Yeah.
Did you have a really good experience when you were in nursing school that made you want to do that?
I needed money. No, it wasn't.
It's not that deep.
Yeah, it's not that deep. It's just not
wasn't
that
that
deep.
deep.
Yeah, it wasn't that deep. But I really, really like being a nursing instructor.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
You get the best reviews of all of the instructors. I mean, I don't know what their reviews are, but she gets really nice reviews.
The students didn't do their what's it called? Their post reflection, their reflection properly.
Yeah.
So I gave them this reflection. I wrote comments about them that were complimentary or telling them how I thought they would be as a nurse. And what I reflected on how they would be, what they did over the semester, what skills they accomplished. And then I said to them, okay, now I want everybody to take 10 minutes to write your own reflections about the semester. And I don't know whether I didn't explain it properly or if I'm just this amazing, but they all wrote about me. They all wrote these reflections on how I was as a clinical instructor. I don't know if I was the problem and I didn't tell them what they needed to do, but they all wrote that they were
the irony, you don't know if you were good at explaining it or not as an instructor.
I might be an awful teacher, and actually I'm not even sure if I read correctly what they wrote.
That's so sweet, because were they telling you in person how much you meant to them, or did you just kind of find out on paper?
I was actually really shocked with some of the students who I did not think vibed with me and then wrote really nice things. Huh. So I thought maybe they were just being professional. Like maybe I was unprofessional as a nursing student and I broke boundaries with my nursing instructor. So I thought that like they would do that as well if they liked me, and maybe I'm wrong about that. So I'm not sure.
I think regardless, like, one, it's fun to brag about yourself. Two, it's really good to like hear good things from somebody else.
Yeah.
And you're like, I know, but like, thank you so much.
Yeah, and
like,
I had to be like, stop. Like, you got really, guys? I didn't think so. But in my head, I was like, I think I did do a good job.
This is also
semester.
where we were saying before to you how we are so different in our work style. This is also where we differ greatly. I don't think it's fun to brag about myself. I can't do it. And Danielle really fucking loves it. Can I curse on this podcast?
Yes, you may.
Of course you can.
So that's also where we differ. But it works really well for us because I keep her humble and she...
And I tell you need to brag more.
Yeah, it's good.
It's a beautiful balance.
Yes.
So
everything about us.
You're working 3 jobs. It's hard not to get off track also in this, but like while we're on... Well, what are your other 2 jobs?
Yeah, it's also like, who are you? Like, hi, I'm Danielle. So, co-founder of Fourplay. So Fourplay is my number 1 full-time thing that I'm doing right now. And then I am also a dog walker.
You are?
Yes, I'm a dog walker. Yes, but I'm not working so much at the moment because of the nursing gig and Fourplay. But I do really have a lot of dog walking clients. Like, it's not just like, oh yeah, I walk dogs. Like, I do actually walk dogs.
That's amazing. And we need to talk afterwards, because I was telling you earlier about my sister. She, in the last 2 years, has been dog walking.
Really?
And has been able to like get herself to walk dogs. And also, I haven't even talked about my sister on this podcast, but like, we'll get there. But overlap and parallels, and that's amazing.
Yeah. And dog walking is so good for your mental health, because you get to be around an animal.
Yeah.
And walk.
Okay, you're playing in like a lot of different fields. Okay. Julie, also co-founder of Fourplay.
And CEO.
And CEO.
She is a boss.
Michelle Obama. So you know that song by Fifth Harmony?
Yes.
Of course.
BOSS, but the S's are cash.
Also, of course. Fifth Harmony was making the band.
No, that was Danity Kane.
Oh,
yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Oh, that's, you ain't gonna
work.
Yeah.
Oh, we loved that show. Mm-hmm. In this house, we watch Making the Band.
Of course.
Yeah, but Diddy was on. That was Diddy, wasn't that Diddy?
I know.
Oh, was he the producer?
Puff Daddy, yeah.
Yeah.
That was crazy. I'm like, he went by a different name.
Yeah. That's when he was Puff Daddy.
Puff.
Okay, so you're a boss.
So I'm also co-founder of Fourplay, a fellow New Jersey girl.
Montvale.
Yeah. And not currently practicing right now, but was also doing physician assistant work with Fourplay as well. But it's a lot of work to have a startup. So I'm focusing on that full time right now.
If you're listening, like, I'm sure you have a ton of questions. When did you guys meet at Penn State?
We met when Julie was a freshman. I was a sophomore. We were both in Griggsing. So Griggsing is something that they haze.
I love you guys.
No, it was not voluntary.
So they hazed the pledges.
They made me.
The pledges?
Well, let me clarify. They made me. Danielle volunteered.
I was the only sophomore in the history of Penn State that was like, can I be in Griggsing? People
not can I be. It's can I be the lead in
like,
Griggsing?
can I be Pocahontas?
But you know what? She won Best Female Lead.
So I was a Pocahontas, and Julie was one of the pledges, and she was...
That wasn't like a casted as one of the pledges. Yeah.
Wait, move closer also.
My mic won't come over here.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Okay. Wait, I might move...
I think you can reposition that.
I know, I'm gonna.
And then,
quick pause.
And then you'll come to...
I was like, wait, Danielle's not in it enough.
What if I was 50-50 between 2 mics? No. Would it make it... No, look, I think it is making it.
Okay, but that's not going to work for me.
Oh, it's just on a dial.
You're like, what if every time I talked, I choose a different mic? You know what I mean? Like, I feel like I was like...
Also, I feel like that intro was a mess.
Wait.
I don't know what I was just talking about.
Guys, this is why we do it. Also, when people are listening, I feel like that's a lot better. Turn as if you're talking to me. Like, how are you actually going to be?
I'm actually going to be talking like this.
Okay, I think that's actually perfect.
Great.
There's so many times where I'll record something and I really will have no idea what I just said.
Right.
And then like
That's what just
my dad
happened.
will text me and be like, Dana,
You did it again, Dane.
I don't know how you do what you do. You're unreal.
Who
And
cuts
Really?
it? Who cuts it for you?
Me.
You do?
Wow.
I do. Yeah. It's yeah.
Wow.
That's another thing. where I'm
You
like,
are a powerhouse.
Yeah.
No.
No,
Like,
you are
I-
a powerhouse.
It's fun, but guys, enough about me. Let's save it for drinks after. Okay. This isn't a Broadway show, but we did just have our first intermission.
Mm-hmm.
We're back. Intermission is for peeing, but we fixed the camera and now we're back. So, Griggs sing. Griggs sing is when freshmen are like kind of getting hazed and they
Right.
have to perform in front of the entire school.
Exactly.
And Danielle said,
Sign me up.
So I was in Mamma Mia freshman year, loved it. Everybody else was like pretending they were sick, like calling out of Greek sing. I was like, I cannot wait to go to Greek sing. I love Mamma Mia. I love being the lead. And then sophomore year, when the pledges were about to get hazed and cast in Pocahontas, I was like, no, I'm not gonna let somebody else be Pocahontas. I need to be in Greek sing. So I asked if I could be in it, and I was.
And then she had a real love story with John
Smith,
that's hot.
Yeah, it was hot.
Who played John Smith?
A hottie.
Steve, so hot.
The one that got away.
Sig Pie?
Yeah, Steve from Sick Pie.
A geisha?
It was Acacia. It was Acacia.
was
Are you
Acacia.
kidding me?
Oh my
they
God,
have
Steve.
they have the volleyball court, right?
Wait, how do you
Wait.
know Penn State so well?
You
I'm
what?
like, I told you I did my research. No, I'm just kidding.
They do have a volleyball court.
So my mom went to Penn State, and then a lot of my friends went there. So I visited. I've only visited twice, but something about Acacia really like stood out to me.
And Danielle too.
Yeah,
And it was Steve.
yeah. He was like a hot blonde.
It was
No.
No, I'm just kidding.
He was a hot
Steve.
blonde.
Oh, really?
Did you hook up with Steve?
I don't know. Let's talk offline. I'm like, I did have a crazy weekend there. Was the year 2017?
I don't
know, because
normally
I
go
was
for
long out of
blondes.
college.
You don't normally go for blondes either.
I don't. But anyway,
Steve
that's
was
how
an
I met
exception,
Julie.
though. Right.
Yeah, I need to let you speak.
And then so sophomore, freshman, did you just like stay close throughout college?
Yeah. We vibed so hard the first time we met, right? Danielle was like spilling all
You
over.
thought I was so nice.
Because you are
No, I know, but
objectively
you thought I was
nice.
like innocent. You thought I was innocent.
Yeah, she was like, I have a crush on Steve. And in my head, and I told her this years later, I was like, Steve's not going to be interested because she's too innocent. Because like she's so bubbly. And Steve was like rough and rugged and about it, but he was very interested. They were, her real side came out and she's a freak.
In the bedroom.
It is called foreplay.
And you know, we vibed so hard. Danielle like spilled all of her trauma to me, and then she was like, wow, I've never told somebody all of this so fast. And then we just vibed, and we were best friends ever since. Well, it was 3 years because we weren't in the same class, but yeah.
Do you feel like you had that with other people too, or did you just feel so like connected already where you were just willing to spill your guts?
I don't remember saying that I never tell anyone this. Because I feel like I actually would not let anybody have a conversation with me without talking about it. I feel like every single person was like, when is she going to shut the fuck up about her breakup?
Well, you told me something about that your dad had once said or something, and you were, and I'm not gonna blow up Alan
Dad.
spot. I'm like, but you were like, wow, I can't believe I just told you that, and
Yeah, I did feel very safe with Julie.
And that also probably felt really good for someone to feel safe with you and like be able to open up to you.
She always has that.
Thank you for stealing my thunder. No, it was very special. It was, yeah, for sure.
So then you graduate, physician. Well, no, you go to Rutgers. Why don't you tell me?
We had very similar. We graduated and then went back to school. So I graduated from Penn State with health policy, health administration degree, minored in bio. Took a few years to take prerequisites for physician assistant programs, and then I went to Rutgers, which was a 3-year master's program. And in my final semester at Rutgers, that is when we had the idea for Fourplay. And so we actually didn't launch the app, but the business was formed in 2019 when I was getting ready to graduate.
And where were you when this idea came up?
So after college, I graduated from college with an education degree. So that was like, I do nothing. Well, actually, it's funny because I do teach now, but I wound up going back to school to become a nurse and then became a nurse practitioner. So I was working at the time as a nurse practitioner at a doctor's office and then also as a nurse at a hospital. And Julie came and stayed with me for like 6 weeks.
I'm circling back to that in a second. It's really cool that you education and then you found nursing and then you kind of looped back to education.
Yeah.
Full circle ending.
I love full circle.
And maybe you'll be doing something with foreplay when you're the other kind of foreplay at your late life.
I would hope so.
That's a full
I would
circle.
hope so.
And you can mix them all. You could teach someone foreplay.
I love
Right.
that.
in a hospital.
While you're murdering patients.
While Julie's killing
While I'm
patients.
killing it. Yeah.
Murdering people. So you were staying with Danielle in Stuytown or Upper East Side?
Upper East.
Upper East Side. The year's 2018.
2019, yeah.
2019. And what happened?
So what happened was, like I said, after college, I went back to New Jersey for a bit, and all of our other friends were either in Philly or New York City. And so I had a very different dating experience than my friends in the city had. I'll let you speak on what your experience was like. But for me, my experience dating was not fun because I had to drive to all my dates. So I could never fully like relax and get drunk. I needed to always make sure I was in control. I felt very isolated from other people. So I was always worried about if a man tried to do something to me or with me, I was kind of defenseless. Like I would have my mates with me. So I could never really fully enjoy dating. And then also on top of that was living with my parents. So I felt like I didn't want to bring guys back. And it just was a weird vibe. It wasn't fun. So that was my experience. And I can let Danielle speak on her experience. But when I was able to finally live in New York for 6 weeks for a clinical rotation, it was very obvious that I wasn't going to find a boyfriend, nor did I want to find a boyfriend in the 6 weeks that I was there, but I did want to have fun and date. But the experience that I heard they were all having was not fun. And so we basically devised a plan to date together so that if it did suck, we weren't wasting any time. Because I barely got to see my friends. I was really heads down in school. And so we changed Danielle's dating app profile to both of us, and we told guys only match if you have a single friend that you can go on a double date with us. And from there, all of the guys were telling us that we were onto something and that it should be its own app. And now here we are, however many years later, with our own app.
It's so easy, just like that.
So easy,
just like
just
that.
like that.
Just like that, I've gone gray and need Botox.
Not from. We don't say the P word here. We don't do free promotion.
No, free promotion. Don't pay me for that.
Wait, Danielle, also just take it right here and point up. That way you don't, I feel like you're going to get mild scoliosis from this.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I don't want you leaving here in pain.
Right.
Is that better?
Yeah, much better.
Perfect. Yeah. Okay, so then what was your experience like? That's just like so interesting. Also, that's just a come to Jesus idea where you guys don't even know what you're doing. And then you do it and you're like, wait, what did we just do?
Yeah, exactly. But there were reasons why it had to be done. But let me rewind and say my dating experience was just that it was just a waste of time. Like I did like dating if it went well, but for the most part, I felt that every date that I went on was a waste of my effort and energy to get ready and then time and ultimately money at sometimes. And I just felt like it never actually goes well and feels like it was worth it. Once in a blue moon it did, but that's why we wanted to date together, because it just wouldn't be a waste of time if we went out together. But what's interesting is that none of this we actually vocalized at the time. We never said these are the reasons why we want to go on double dates. It wasn't until after, when it became a business, when we needed to actually think about what is the problem and what are we solving for, that we needed to go back and look at what were the actual problems that prompted us to do that. At the time, we didn't have that conversation. At the time, we were like, it's just more fun. Let's just go on double dates. But it's like, why was it more fun? And we knew that we needed, in order for foreplay to be compelling, we needed to have legitimate, concrete reasons. And so we started to think through, why wasn't it fun? And then we realized it wasn't fun for her because she didn't feel safe. It wasn't fun for me because I always felt like I was wasting my time meeting up with a stranger that you have nothing in common with. You just like thought maybe you would have chemistry, but I don't know why you would think that you would have chemistry with someone from a screen. But the reality is it's not a waste of time if there's something else that's in it for you. And if your friend is there and what's in it for you is being social, then it's worth it.
I'm in. Like that also, thanks for both of you for explaining everything. Like, to me, it's like, no, duh. But also, I had never heard of it before I heard of it. You know, it's not like before I was like, I wish there was a double dating app. Like, I didn't even think like that because you don't even think it's an option.
Right.
And then, no, duh. Like, when you're with your friends, you're the best version of yourself. And also, every date is just either a really funny memory or like something you just want to forget about. But when you're with a friend, like, it's always going to be a funny memory.
Exactly.
Or like you meet your husbands or significant others on the date. Like, you don't feel like you're wasting your time. You're with your friend. You feel safe because you're with your friend. You're merging all of your doubts and your hesitations and you're eliminating them by allowing people to use this app. Like, it's freaking brilliant.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Also, I really need it because I give people the benefit of the doubt a lot. My therapist is telling me to stop doing that. We're actively working on giving less of the benefit of the doubt actively. But I do it a lot. And so there have been a lot of men that I have dated historically that when we do our like retrospective on them, when it's over, Danielle's like, you thought he was so nice. He wasn't so nice. You thought he was so great. He wasn't so great. And I love foreplay because when we go out with the guys that we're meeting, Danielle is meeting them from day zero. And so when I'm talking about that, but when we're talking about them and whatnot, there's actual context there and she's able to weigh in. And I feel that it's a more realistic representation of the person. You know what I mean? Like, it's helpful to have her opinion because she's met the person.
Right. Like, if you're going to end up venting to your friend about the guy that you went on a date with, the friend might as well be on the date.
Exactly.
Right.
Right. What? So, hold on. So, 2019, you guys do this. Okay. Do you end up going on a date once you make the dating app?
Yes.
Or sorry, no, not the dating app. Once you update the profile. Like,
yes.
What was that like? Because I'm assuming that kind of spiraled you guys into the app.
Exactly. So the problems that we experienced with the double date profile and the whole double date experience, exactly what you said, those were the things that made the business actually seem viable. So the first thing is that we were both logged into my Hinge account. So that was a logistical nightmare in that we were both having a conversation with the guy that we matched with on Danielle. It was coming from Danielle. So we were signing off on every message. Like Julie would suggest something and be like, Julie. And then I would say something and dash Danielle. And so, and also because we didn't know who he was going to bring. He said he had a friend to bring on the date with us, but we didn't know if that was legitimate or not. Like, did he actually have a friend or was he really creepy? He did wind up having a friend, but the date itself was kind of a shit show. The friend wound up being erratic, and well, one of them was erratic, one of them didn't speak, like had no personality.
So aesthetically nice to look at, but
gorgeous.
Did not speak.
Was he who you guys first swiped on?
Yes. He actually, we weren't sure if he had a voice because he didn't use it once. So there was nothing that came from his mouth.
He's just facey.
Yes, facey. That's all he had. That's all he was. So
how does it feel, man?
Exactly. So we left that night. The one who was erratic asked us if he could take an Uber home with us. if he could like get in our car. And we said yes. But we had one another. Right.
We didn't feel unsafe. We just needed him to shut the fuck up.
Right.
He wouldn't. His friend wouldn't speak. He wouldn't stop speaking.
Yeah.
But he was also just like all over the place. And so we didn't feel unsafe with him. We were just like, I can't wait to like talk about this later and debrief the fact that this guy won't shut the fuck up.
Right. And your number one thing is safety. So you're like, excuse me.
Right.
So when he got out of the car, like we were just hysterically laughing. And like we were like, that was the best night, even though it was an awful date. Like,
Right.
it was awful, but we had so much to talk about. We still laugh about it.
Yeah, because I think what we did afterwards was we vlogged about it in our group chat with our friends, and our friends were so jealous that we had this experience together. And we were like, oh, we're onto something here. That like this is the feeling that it's evoking of like, I want to do that.
Yeah. I want to tell the story. That's the thing. Do it for the story.
Not for there's no plot. It's just a story.
The story.
It's a story. So then your 6 weeks, I'm assuming, is coming up to an end.
Yeah.
When's the come to Jesus? Like, when are you, let's do it?
I was sending screenshots in my family group chat about the responses that we were getting, which was guys telling us that we were geniuses, it should be its own app. And I was saying, how funny is it that this is the response? And my family is pretty entrepreneurial in the sense that they like to start things, but they're not like big successes. It's very like legitimately entrepreneurial, not like the, amazing story. And my brother was saying, if this is the response that we were getting, if we don't try this, somebody else will, and we should go for it. And I'm like down. I'm one of those people that's like, I'll do it. I'm down. Danielle was like, fuck no. I'm a happy nurse. Leave me alone.
Why would I start a business?
Yeah, she was not interested.
Why would I start an app? Like, for a healthcare provider, it's like, why would we start an app?
Like, I was like a few weeks away
I
from
have
like
a
starting board review.
respectable job.
Yeah. And I think you were also dog walking at the time too.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah. I was getting ready to start studying for the boards, like getting ready to graduate. So I don't know why we did it to ourselves, but one day she came home from work and I said, my brother Ian had a really great idea for the name and we're going to call it Fourplay. And then she was like, I'm in. Like, that's all she had to hear. Her whole personality changed in that moment. She was like, I was like, oh, that could be good.
You're like, wait, but how is it spelled?
Wait, no, stop. I have to do that. I was like, that's amazing.
Yeah. And so literally from there, I Googled how do you start a business, and I just went with Google advised, and now I would have used Perplexity or ChatGPT, but at the time, it was just Google. And
we would have sold the company 6 months later.
Yeah, we would have had multi-million dollars. Yeah.
Right.
For the story.
Yeah, for the story. It's not about the plot. So yeah, I mean, it has not been easy. It continues to not be easy. It's really hard. I think a lot of people have ideas and they don't even know where to begin. We also did not know where to begin. We didn't have any connections in the industry. We just made it happen. And so if people have ideas, they can make it happen. If you want to start a podcast called Not That Deep, you can make it happen, right? Like it's been a journey for sure.
Your brother came up with the name. Was he like, I'm a genius?
Yeah.
He definitely.
Yeah. He feels really good about it.
That probably felt awesome.
And he
it felt
deserves
so
it.
Did you try to have like counter names just in case you could think of something better?
No. I mean, we weren't even thinking about names because I was trying to convince Danielle and she was like, fuck off, get me out of your family group chat.
We did ask my dad. We did tell my dad that we were thinking of making it an app. And he was like, he likes to contribute to the business. He likes to contribute creatively. He thinks.
You're like, financially.
Her dad is a legitimate like
he
character
likes
out of a movie.
he really wants to contribute creatively, and I do entertain it a lot.
I entertain it too.
Yeah, you do. We'll like put him on speaker and we'll be like, that's such a good idea. Like, so he was like, I got an idea what you could call it.
No, that's not what happened.
What did he say?
You called him and you're like, Dad, we're gonna make this into a business. He's like, oh yeah, and he's like,
what are you gonna call it?
What are you gonna call it? You gonna call it a double date? And you were like, we're actually gonna call it Fourplay. And he was like, oh.
Now that is a good name.
It is just such a good name because it like evokes a little bit of a What did you just say?
And a lot of people are like, oh, okay, no, that's fine. You don't have to tell me anything about it. Like when a lot of people, when they hear the name, they can't handle it. Like they get really awkward because they don't know what it is yet. And they don't want to know. Like some parents, like some people from that generation, they're like, oh, okay, that's wonderful. Like they don't like they don't ask any more questions. So we've learned now the way we lead is when people say, and what do you do? Instead of saying, I have a business called Fourplay Social, it's the last thing we say. We explain what the entire thing is, and then they say, what's it called? And then we say Fourplay Social, Four, and they love it, but they need the explainer.
Right.
And then it's like, oh, duh.
Right.
And it makes so much sense.
You know, it's funny. I would say most people that we tell the name to love it. And there has been one investor that I have pitched that he has said, you'll never be a successful business if you keep the name Fourplay. And most other investors, we've actually had other investors say I'm investing because the name is so good. So that just is proof that you can't satisfy everybody. And you just have to do what you think is right. But the name is great, I think.
Yeah.
Thank
Ian,
you, Ian.
her brother is the best
Ian.
person on the planet, the most angelic, perfect person. Like amazing brother, amazing husband, amazing son. He deserves all the credit. We're obsessed with him.
I love this.
Wow.
Also, like, I feel like every successful person has that one example of like, this person told me I was never going to make it. And I feel like if you don't have that, then you probably aren't going to make it. If everyone is like blowing smoke and is like, you're going to do it, you need someone to doubt you, because that's what lights the fire.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
So
And
true.
a shit ton of people doubt us ongoingly. So there's a lot of fire being stoked.
Yeah.
So I want to get into the nitty gritty of like app creation, colors, themes, but like we're not going to do that right now.
Please, let's not do that.
What did years 2020 to 2023 look like for you guys? Because you're still dog walking, you're still doing nursing, you're in PA school, and then you're done. You're
I graduated in
practicing.
2019.
So you're practicing. What is it? What is that like? How do you show like responsibility? How do you know what the word I'm looking for? Like, how do you
reconcile?
How do you like allocate jobs if it's a 2-person team? You guys are best friends. Like, how did that all work?
It was ugly.
Yeah.
It was really ugly.
I feel like we had to work through so much in the beginning. First, Julie's siblings were involved. Like, delegate, is that the word you were looking for? Delegate? Yes. And like she would delegate a lot of things to the siblings, and then like her brother and sister. She has another brother also, but this one brother and sister were very invested in Fourplay. Like they loved it, had so much fun working on it. And then we're gonna get real deep.
Oh, I'm like, where were you? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I took a step back from the mic.
And where were you?
I'm so sorry.
I took a step back from the mic because I was like, it's going to go one of two ways here, so I will let you decide.
So then,
whatever you want, we can cut. We can.
Oh,
we love to get deep.
I'm like
Okay.
good with it.
Yeah.
So then I wound up going to a residential treatment facility for an eating disorder. And
I just want to clarify, you first went to the residential treatment.
no, I first went to the
Right.
outpatient.
What I was trying to imply there was that my siblings being involved did not put you there. You went there and then my siblings got involved.
Right. But they could have put me there for sure.
But like,
they could have put me there.
When you went, I needed help, and that's when they...
Right.
Julie's like, I need to protect my family's
Allison,
name.
Ian didn't do anything wrong.
You did this to her.
But so I went there, and they then stepped up because they're amazing, and they started helping, and she was able to delegate like everything that I would have done. They did.
Okay.
But then when I got back, I was like, where do I fit into it? Like, do you guys like got this? And I'm just like not necessary. But we have such a close relationship that we were able to prioritize. Like, we knew that the relationship, the friendship, and the relationship between co-founders, for us specifically, I think are inextricable because it's really just under the one umbrella of our friendship. Our friendship is the most important thing to us, and the company will not be successful. Look, the co-founder relationship won't work if the friendship's not working. The company won't work if the friendship's not working, but we also don't care about the company working if the friendship's not working. Like, the friendship is the most important thing. So when we realized that me coming back like didn't make me feel good as a co-founder because I didn't know my value as a co-founder, you couldn't break that apart from who I am personally. Like Julie was able to see that was affecting me personally. And because the friendship is important enough to her, she knew that she needed to give me power back. It wasn't about how optimizing the business though. It wasn't about like, okay, we need to empower the co-founder to make her a better worker.
I disagree.
Oh.
Yeah, I disagree.
Oh, you didn't give a fuck about the friendship?
No,
it wasn't about the friendship at all.
Of course, I gave a fuck about the friendship. But I think,
and was I making sense?
What you just
I blacked
said?
out for a sec.
What you just said?
Yeah, I blacked out.
You made complete sense to
yeah,
me.
she knows that.
You said a word I've never heard before. Inextricable.
Yeah, it was a good word. It was a good word.
And I mentally was like, Dana, you need to get smarter.
I think that may have been the
vocabulary.
I may have blacked out at that part.
No, you did amazing. And thank you for sharing.
No, but of course the friendship matters. But what I was going to say is that was the reality and the reality that you were living. And I was living a very different reality. For you, you are interpreting everything that happened as I cared about the friendship and all of that, which I absolutely do. But also, I wholeheartedly believed and still do and always will that Fourplay wouldn't have been successful if you weren't the other co-founder. I didn't want to do it with anybody else because there is something about you that is so special that not everybody has, honestly. I mean, like, we're on this podcast because what happened? You like fell in love with Dana, and now Dana fell in love with you back, and you guys fell in love. And now I'm just like fucking left out, and it's like,
no,
and it's like, it's like, who's Julie?
Get in bed with us.
It's like Julie.
You can sleep with Bobby and Daddy.
We have to
tonight.
like overcompensate and put Julie in the center of the recordings, which she can feel part of it. But the truth was is that if you weren't happy and you didn't want to do the work, the company would not have been successful. And I wanted both to succeed, our friendship and also the company. So for you, you didn't see it that way, but for me, I saw it that way. That was my reality.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Such level heads on both of you, really. But like for you to be able to step in while Danielle was getting help from
She's the most level-headed person.
It sounds like it.
The most level-headed person. She's wired in a way that like most human beings aren't. I'm extremely emotional, but the reason why it's fine and like hasn't impacted the friendship and hasn't impacted the business, because it's unprofessional how emotional I am at work, is because she's extremely level-headed.
Do you feel like a friendship to really succeed as you get older almost has to operate the same level, if not better, than a marriage?
Oh, 100%. We are married.
Fully married.
And we have a better marriage than most people we know.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you're not getting divorced ever.
Never.
No, but we do a prenup. You know, we did make a co-founder prenup in the event that we,
which was
it's
a
like
devastating conversation.
Yeah, we were going through everything. Like, they told us you should prepare for the worst. So we were speaking about it so haphazardly, like, okay, if one of us dies, this is what will happen.
You're kidding me.
If one of us is impaired, this is what will happen. And then we get to, and if God forbid, the friendship breaks, like everything else was like, it's fine. You get hit by a truck, it's fine. God forbid the friendship ends. This is what will happen. It was, yes.
Oh my God.
So we have our prenup in place, and yeah.
I thought you were joking.
No.
Like you fully have a prenup.
Yeah, we do.
It's a standard operating agreement.
It's an SOA.
It's what it's called.
Do you guys watch Housewives?
Of course.
It's like when Cynthia wrote Nene a friendship agreement in like season 4 of Atlanta.
I don't watch Atlanta.
Okay. I'm just gonna
I'm so sorry.
I'm just gonna like bleep that out. Anyways, okay, so you come back in. How did you delegate roles? Like what was your role and what was your role? And when did you come back? Was that 2022, 2021?
22. No. It was like right before New Year's. So 2020.
No.
Still.
No.
2019.
You were in
2019. I was there.
We launched
because I was there through Thanksgiving.
Yeah, we launched the app in the App Store. It's really crazy. We actually launched the app in the App Store. Danielle wasn't around for it because can you just say a little bit about what it was like when you were?
I was at camp. I was at camp for people with eating disorders, and I loved it. By the way, I like wish I could go back.
You led Greek Sing.
Correct. It was like she was like pissed. She was like, "Can you come home?" I was like, "I think I'm gonna stay."
You're like, they have an archery class. I really want to get into it.
And then Danielle came home and she was like, I have such guilt because you've been miserable and I've been having
Oh my
the
God,
best.
she started her job as a PA. She entered the working world as a PA while her best friend and co-founder was in an eating disorder facility. Was at camp.
Was in archery.
Could you like send pictures? I'm imagining.
there was no internet.
No, that's why it was so fabulous.
Wow. How long were you there for?
7 weeks.
Damn. And
No computer, nothing. No phones, no internet, nothing.
visiting day?
Yeah,
I
visiting
went
day.
to visiting
Yeah.
day. I went to visiting day. I'm like the classic mother. I cried on visiting day.
Oh. She and my other friend came and cleaned my room when I was gone. So I would come back to a clean room. Such good friends.
That's love.
Oh yeah, we have a great marriage.
It's a wonderful marriage.
So
But we're poly because we let other people in as well.
Yeah.
it's foreplay. Yeah, of course. How did you is one of you the financier, one of you is social, one of you is the marketer? Like how do your individual skills help foreplay be what it is?
So in the beginning, there was no delegation of roles. We both had our hands in everything, and that's why it was so tense because we conflicted. You know, like I was like, I want to make the graphic for like this event, and then I made it, and she shat all over it. And
You're not good at
the graphics,
art.
I know. I want to be artistic. It's
You need Dakota.
Dakota Cattle Creative LLC.
We love Dakota.
So it was really tense because she wanted to make decisions that she really wasn't good at. I was trying to do things that I'm really not good at. And then my brother actually was like, one of you needs to be CEO.
love him.
Classic.
No, but I don't know if you remember this.
I don't know
I was living with Perry and Ray at the time. My brother was like, one of you needs to be CEO. Like, this is going to be bad if you guys don't delegate. And so I brought up to Danielle, and Danielle was like, okay, you could be CEO. And then Danielle goes, I was like, okay, that was easy. Then Danielle goes and talks to her sister, Allie, who's a bad bitch. Allie is like so fucking cool, so smart, so badass. And Allie tells Danielle, you can't just let Julie be CEO. Like, I don't think you understand the gravity of that decision. She can make decisions without you, all these things. And then we have it finalized, and Danielle comes back and she was like, Allie says I can't just let you be CEO. We should talk about it more. Like, what the fuck were we doing? We were just playing house, honestly. We were playing house.
So funny.
I was like, but we could be co-CEOs.
Yeah. She was like, Allie said co-CEOs would work. And I was like, okay, whatever. So then we continued as we were doing, just calling it co-CEO. When we raised money for the first time, there was an early stage venture capitalist who said, after they did all their diligence for several months, I'm not comfortable investing without there being a clear CEO, because at 4:00 in the morning, when I either have amazing news or I have terrible news, I don't know who I'm supposed to call. I don't know who I can, rely on in those moments. And so,
And someone ultimately needs to have the final say on something.
right.
Yeah.
She was
It can't be wishy-washy.
Yeah. She was like, I'm not saying you need to have different equity. You can have the same equity, but one of you needs to have the executive decision. And so we hung up with her, and then I think we called her back, and we were like, well, what do you think we should do? And she was like, I think that it's clear that Julie's more of the CEO role, and I think Danielle is very clearly more of the growth and marketing and hacker, and that's it. And we were like, okay. And so we did that. We were very reluctant to do that because, ego can definitely get in the way, and people want to be in control. It has been the best thing for our relationship and for the business because, well, you really made out like a bandit. Your job is so much better.
I have a great job.
Yeah, my job fucking
I would never want to be the CEO. Giving her the CEO role was the biggest relief ever.
I feel so bad for myself. And I'm like, Allie, Danielle should not just let me be CEO.
She's on Excel, and I'm like, I have no interest. I'm on TikTok while she's on Excel.
Mm-hmm. So Danielle's social marketing growth events.
Yes.
But
expansion.
What's nice though is that Danielle.
Also, we have to go.
Oh.
How long do you have?
What do you?
For?
This is my podcast. People always do this. They start also. They're like, they're like, I feel like this is going on long. And I'm like, guys, like, this is mine. Like, I have a grip. Like,
I just wanted you because I wanted to make sure
Julie,
that you didn't go over.
I literally motioned like this to my phone, and Danielle's like, we're done. We have to leave.
No, because I was looking at the time and I didn't want you to get in trouble.
No. I won't get in
Believe me, I never want to go. Are you kidding?
So fucked up. I'm dying. I'll have people just start like interviewing me. I'm like, whoa, Yankee swap. No. We have a bit more time. Like I love the nitty gritty that we're getting into though, because like whenever
But we have to go.
No, like 15 minutes. But like whenever I'm listening to a podcast, I always am like, oh, I wish they asked that. So when I'm talking to you, as much as I want to be me and like, oh my God, yes, bitch. Like, and then talk about random shit, it takes everything in me to just be like, wait, I have a question on that. So that means everyone else that's listening probably has a question. So if you're impressed that I haven't gone on a million tangents, that's why.
I am.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
That's amazing restraint.
Yeah.
Just like the one Real Housewives one, but then I reeled it back.
Right. And then we're going to delete that.
Yeah, you were even like, I'm going to cut that. Or was it because I said I didn't watch Atlanta and it was embarrassing for me?
Yeah, I just don't want to defame you.
Right.
But so where were we? We were talking about how you're like growth social.
Yeah, no, I was saying what's really cool is that Danielle has her finger on the pulse with like what's gonna be the next big thing, who's gonna be the next big thing.
Dana
like
Segalsian.
No, literally, she was like, she's gonna blow up, so we need to get on it now.
It was me.
No, but actually, and so she's really good at that. But I really enjoy writing, and I really enjoy being creative with writing, and so she'll come up with things for social, but then will consult me on like what should we write for it, what should the caption be, what should the concept be, which I really appreciate and really like. And also, I think Danielle is extremely articulate and is very good at being direct and is a very good communicator. And so there are a lot of more of like the quote unquote business decisions that need to be made that I really have to consult with her on a lot, because I think she's very level-headed and very smart. And so though we own our own domains of the business, we come to each other a lot to overlap. And that is what I think makes it work, because we can still feel like we're part of it.
It's not so siloed. Like, yes, you have different technical roles, but it's a group effort. Like, I really feel it's like a interconnected Venn diagram.
Totally.
Yeah, totally.
I will say that it is difficult to take off the roles that we've each been assigned when we enter our personal lives at 5:00, because we live together. And if we're working from home that day, then like we're just pretending. There's just an arbitrary cutoff where it's like, okay, we're gonna take off those hats now. But our brains don't work that way. So like when it comes to executing and when it comes to like high level shit needs to get done, I rely on Julie to do that stuff at Fourplay. And then like as a roommate, I have to remember that she's not the CEO of the apartment.
Right,
like
you
I
can
have
clean
to,
the kitchen.
like I could clean the kitchen.
You absolutely
I
can.
could take the stuff out of the dishwasher.
Do you? No. Could you?
I
Absolutely.
could.
Yeah.
I could.
That's such a good point too. Like, you share a lot of your lives. Like, you wear a lot of hats, but they also are interconnected.
Right.
I want to do You're Not That Deeps, but I really would love to know where you guys see this social app in 3 years. I'm not saying 5. I think 5 is way too long. 3 years is like, where do you see yourself in 3 years? That guy's taking a photo of us. Smile, bitches. Okay.
Oh, hey.
Why is he being like Joe from You?
Because he knows
Yeah,
that
exactly. It's like
He also knows that you're about to be famous. And,
Whatever. He's coming for Danielle's neck.
So right now, the app is only available in Boston and New York. I would say, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know. I've literally been. I have friends in LA, and I was like, you guys have to get. I literally like send it to them.
they're coming. They're
Yeah, that
nice.
makes so much sense.
Well, in 3 years, we'll be in LA. So we're only in Boston and New York right now. In the next year, we are hopefully, by the end of 2026, going to be available across the entire United States. Then next up, I think, is going to probably be London, because they love the double date in London.
And Toronto. They love a double date.
So in 3 years, we will have gone from a pretty niche local brand to a international brand.
Bosses.
But most importantly, we will still be married, maybe have some children, and Hopefully my Botox starts getting better.
I would hope so.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm meeting you guys at a really cool time because I feel like you've been putting in work for 5-6 years, but I feel like for anything to really get started, like this is that sweet spot where now you actually can realistically have goals of launching in LA is not that crazy because you already did it in 2 major cities and that's really exciting. But I do feel like I'm going to look back on this in 3 years and be like, I cannot believe that I had them on.
I think we're gonna be that way.
Yeah,
I think we're gonna be like, I cannot believe that we were her like 4th.
Yes. Where do you see yourself in 3 years professionally?
See, this is what I mean. People are managing my time and asking my questions.
Yeah, but where do you see yourself?
This is funny. Actually, someone asked me, I remember in high school, like, where do you see yourself in 10 years? And I said, happy. And I think it was my English teacher. He said, that's not a real answer. I see myself happy. I would love to be healthy. And in terms of career and myself, like, I would love to be making people laugh. And that's a really broad umbrella. But whether that's doing my podcast or doing stand-up comedy, I would love to be someone that people look at and they're like, she's so funny, she's so real, and like she has not lost her sense of self throughout all of this. Like that is so freaking important to me. And I think you guys kind of drive on authenticity as well. At least I'm feeling it. Also for everyone listening, like we met and we were like jumping up and down, like the energy I'm sure you can feel, but it's just special. But I want to just be myself and making people laugh.
Well, I think that you are very, very funny.
Thank you.
In the 2 hours that I've known you, I have actually appreciated the most your depth and substance and how deep. No, really, like it's very easy to be light with people and joke around, and to get deep and real that's what makes people special. And the fact that you have both, I think for sure in 3 years you are going to be very successful in whatever you're doing, and I also hope that you are happy and healthy.
Thank you so much.
I second that.
These girls got me tearing up in the club at PNT Knitwear. I thank you for saying that. And like thank you guys for just being so down to come on, even if Danielle bamboozled you.
No, she's been obsessed with you that I'm like, I gotta get my claws in that.
Wait,
if I get pushed out of this, I'm gonna be so upset.
So all day today, like she's been talking about like ideas she has for what's not that deep. And they keep being related to dating. And I was like,
Throw some.
I was like, what? No, why are you doing like dating ones? Like, get a life.
She was like, can you not be so basic?
Like, can you think of anything else? And she was like, because we're going on a dating podcast. I was like, no, we're not.
Nobody told me. This is what I'm saying. I've been left out.
She was like, then what are we talking about? I was like, dating.
She was such a little bitch last night. We were coming home from our event, and I was like, you didn't invite me to the podcast recording calendar invite. So what time is it at and where is it? And she was like, I was actually pretty nice about it. I was like, what time and where? And she was like, oh. And I was like, okay, this is my time and my calendar. You can fucking tell me where I'm supposed to be tomorrow, like, and what time. And she was like, okay, you're right. But it's like, I felt now that I've seen the dynamic here, she just didn't want me to come.
No. Like, you know how people watch Broad City and they're like, I'm an Alana, like I'm an Abby, like I'm like a Danielle, like, whereas like I have so many friends that like would align very closely to Julie, like, and that's the friendships that work.
Yeah.
Like
absolutely.
I have my Julie.
Absolutely.
At home. Like my Jill is my Julie. Like completely different brain, completely different wired, but like at our core, like we're sisters,
yes.
you know?
Yes.
And it's so important to have that. But her emails, like I'm literally, can I mention like the sponsored post?
Yes.
Okay. So Fourplay reached out to me and was like, hey Dana, like we'd love to, if you like made a video and it could be like a sponsored post. I have never been asked to do this before. This was like the craziest thing to me. I told everyone I'm like a micro influencer.
You are.
It was so cool. But how it happened also was Fourplay kept commenting on my TikTok and on mainly on my TikToks. I was like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, were you like getaway brand?
No, I was like, yes. But I didn't fully grasp it. And then once you reached out, I was like, wow, they really were doing like their cold intros, and then they
Flirting.
just pounced. And I loved it. And then I thought really hard about what to do for the sponsored post. And I did it. And it was probably my worst performing video that I've ever done in my entire life.
I don't. Oh my God, you were obsessing over
Yeah.
Dana because she was like, don't pay me for it.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
no, of course we're paying you for
I
it.
did not want to be paid for it because I did not think that it was good, like, influencer work. But then me and Danielle were just emailing each other like, ha, ha, like screaming, like throttling. And like, it was so unprofessional isn't the word, but just so unique of like you guys know what you're doing, but like at the same time, we don't know what we're doing. I know what I'm doing to an extent. I have no idea what I'm doing. Like a brand reaching out is the funniest thing to me. I'm like, yes. I get 12 views. I'm like, oh my God. Like
We were
But
thrilled.
also-
Like, that's 12 more than we had before.
But also, like, a brand will never reach out and say the stuff that I said ever again because I am so inappropriate. Like, but this is why it works, because if you don't know how to do it and you just and it's just your personality is what's coming through, like if you're leading with your personality, then it's more successful than the person who knows how to do it. But if they don't have the
Well, I think
it factor,
the truth is that 99% of us are just full of shit, right? And we're not full of shit because we don't pretend that we know. We don't know. So we just fucking go with it. And then we're on a podcast now that I thought was a dating podcast, but here we are. And it's not that deep.
it's not that deep.
But I do want to tell you what my not that deep thing is.
I'm begging.
Okay. I had a few. And then I thought of a really
well, you
good
only
one.
have time for one.
Yeah, wait. How much? You could like spitball them. Like we can't dig into all of them, but
Okay,
this is why I need my own studio.
You need your own studio. I'm gonna lead with just one that I think is it's really not that deep. So when you're walking on the sidewalk of New York City, or probably anywhere, but really New York because we're assholes here, and it's not that deep for either person in this situation. If you're being the slow walker and the person like is huffing and puffing past you, like, can you move? It's like, as the slow walker, you need to know it's not that deep. It wasn't about you. That person's just in a rush. It's not that deep. As the fast walker, you need to recognize that person is not trying to piss you off by being slow in your, they're just not in a rush. And for both of them, it's not that deep. That's mine.
I love that. It's so relatable. Also, we've all been the slow walker and we've all been the fast walker.
Yes.
Correct.
We
And
can
I've
all
been that
relate.
bitch and I'm like, can you move? And I'm often that bitch that's like, okay, you're being a bitch. Like, I'm just walking.
Like, what's the rush? Enjoy life.
Right.
Their wife's like giving labor. The person walking slow just took like the fattest edible. It's like, give them a chance.
Right.
That's me. I'm so innocent. My not that deep is when people are really awkward about like sending their meal back or when they didn't order it or like or like they ordered a Diet Coke but they got a Sprite. Or even if you did order it but it's not cooked all the way through. Okay. If it's raw. It's not, you can do it. You can ask. You don't have to feel like you're being a Karen. You're paying for it and you are entitled to get what you're paying for. Stop questioning it. It's not that deep. The waitress doesn't care.
That's such a good one.
She didn't make it.
And people are so scared of being a Karen. They've just like completely went mute when anything goes wrong.
Right.
In like the service industry.
I would bet you that the waitress would rather you say something and she sends it back so that you leave a good tip
Exactly.
than take it out on them and leave a bad one because you didn't get what you wanted.
And the waitress did not make it.
Yeah, she's not offended.
Herself.
She wasn't cooking that Sprite all
Right.
night.
It's okay to be like, I don't think this is.
She wasn't cooking
She
that
wasn't
Sprite.
brewing.
She wasn't churning butter on the airplane all night so that you could have your burger melted. Danielle, Julie, I am so greatly appreciative of the two of you coming on Not That Deep. We will be in touch over email. We'll CC Julie, perhaps.
Well, we're going to get drinks now, I thought.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. They don't need to know my entire life. It's like literally my mom and my dad listening. Like,
Hi. They're so cute.
Please tune in, rate me 5 stars. I need it. And feel free to comment. Other people that aren't my dad are allowed to comment. And please rate and review and just, find a reason to smile, laugh. I know that this 60-minute podcast just did it for you. Love you. Bye. Yay!
You're so funny.
You are such a